What if I told you that the people who hide their faces online aren't shy, they're dangerous? Not in a violent way, in a psychological way. Because the less they show, the more you wonder. And that's exactly what gives them power. In a world that screams for attention, silence becomes suspicious. Privacy becomes rebellion. And invisibility becomes control. See, when everyone else is busy curating perfect smiles and fake laughter for likes, these people vanish behind the screen. No selfies, no mirror shots, not even a good angle attempt. Just shadows, quotes, maybe a blurry photo of the sky, and that's enough to make people curious. Who are they? Why do they hide? The truth isn't as simple as they're insecure. It's darker, quieter, and far more calculated. Let's get one thing straight. People who hide their faces aren't running from attention, they're watching it. They've studied the performance of others. The filters, the posing, the dopamine rush that comes from a red notification dot. They've seen how easily people trade authenticity for approval. And somewhere along the way, they made a decision. I'd rather be a ghost than a puppet. There's a psychology to that. It's not antisocial, it's self-preservational. When someone doesn't show their face online, they're protecting something most people have already sold, their sense of mystery. Because mystery, in psychology, equals control. Think about it. The moment you stop showing, people start imagining. And imagination is far more powerful than exposure. When you're unseen, people project their own ideas onto you. You become anything they want you to be. Interesting, intimidating, deep, even dangerous. That's the silent charisma of the unseen. But here's where it gets darker. Sometimes the refusal to show your face isn't about power, it's about fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of people using your appearance as a weapon against your worth. These are often people who've seen how cruel the internet can be, how quickly it turns faces into memes, mistakes into hashtags, and insecurities into entertainment. So they hide, not because they're weak, but because they know exactly how vicious visibility can be. They've learned that anonymity isn't loneliness, it's armor. It's peace. Because once you show your face, the world feels entitled to it. People start analyzing your expressions, comparing your looks, assigning value. You go from being a mind to being an image. And that's the real nightmare, when your thoughts stop mattering, and your face starts speaking for you. Those who hide their faces refuse to play that game. They've chosen the dark side of digital existence, the side that observes rather than performs. They're the quiet lurkers who know everything about everyone, while revealing nothing about themselves. And that's their secret edge. In psychology, this behavior ties closely to emotional detachment and selective vulnerability. They open their minds, but not their faces. They share ideas, not appearances. It's a silent statement. You can know my thoughts, but you'll never own my identity. Sarcastically speaking, they're the ones who broke the social media matrix. While everyone else is out there uploading every angle of their breakfast, these people realized something most haven't. The less people know, the more they assume, and assumptions create intrigue. In an age of oversharing, mystery is currency. Everyone's trying to be seen, but the real ones, they're trying to be understood. And they know you can't truly be understood. in a world obsessed with images. Now, let's go a bit deeper. Psychologists suggest that people who avoid showing their faces often have a stronger sense of internal validation, meaning they don't need external applause to feel real. Their self-worth isn't built on hearts and comments. Instead, it's built on privacy, solitude, and selective exposure. They've mastered what's known as psychological distance, a way of staying close enough to observe humanity, but far enough not to drown in it. And if you've ever tried to get close to someone like this, you'll know how disorienting it feels. They give you depth without details, honesty without evidence, presence without visibility. It's like trying to read a book with the pages glued shut. You sense something powerful behind the silence, but you can't touch it. That's what makes them magnetic. You don't fall for their face, you fall for their absence. But here's the paradox. Sometimes, the more mysterious they are, the more lonely they become. Because people crave connection, and connection often demands exposure. They might hide to protect themselves, but in doing so, they also isolate themselves from genuine intimacy. Their privacy becomes a fortress. Safe, yes, but also cold. The dark psychology here is that isolation feels safer than being seen and misunderstood. Still, for many of them, that's a price worth paying. They'd rather be misunderstood in silence than misrepresented in public. They've realized that in the digital age, the moment you show your face, people stop listening to your voice. And the irony? The people who post the most often feel the most unseen. Because when everyone's shouting for attention, no one's really looking. So maybe the ones who hide their faces are the only ones who've truly seen the truth. That visibility is overrated. That mystery is underrated. That showing less means feeling more. They're not hiding, they're filtering. Not for likes, but for peace. They've chosen the shadows because that's where they believe the real world still breathes. And if you ever stumble across someone online who never posts their face, maybe it's not insecurity. Maybe it's intelligence. Maybe they understand that in a world where everyone's performing, the most powerful act left is silence. Because here's the final twist. The internet rewards noise, but it respects mystery. Those who stay hidden are the only ones who can't be judged, canceled, or controlled. They've escaped the algorithm's addiction loop, and that makes them unpredictable, untouchable, free. So the next time you scroll past an account with no selfies, no stories, no oversharing, don't assume they're invisible. They might just be the only ones who still have something left that the rest of us lost long ago. Their peace, their mystery, and their mind. And that's the dark psychology of people who hide their faces online. The ones who understand that sometimes, the best way to be seen is not to show yourself at all.